Thank you, Shane. Welcome to the BigSurv20 highlight show. Thanks, everyone. This is also known as the closing session, but I've chosen to call it the highlight show. I'm Craig Hill from RTI International. I'll be your host for the next half hour or so. We're going to take a few minutes here to reminisce about the last 5 Fridays, how it went, what a remarkable experience it's been, what a remarkable conference it was, and how we can make things better going forward. And we're going to recognize some award winners. We'll point out some themes. We'll tease you a little bit about BigSurv22, or the conference in the future, the franchise, as I like to call it, the BigSurv franchise. So tray tables up, everyone, seats in an upright and locked position. Enjoy the ride. Before I begin, though, I have to take a moment to recognize the members of the scientific and program committees, all of whom are joining me as panelists on today's show. These are the people who are responsible, for good or ill, for putting together what I think of as the absolutely fabulous BigSurv20. Goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that pulling off BigSurv20 in the midst of a pandemic was challenging, to say the least. And I know every other conference in the world is faced with the same challenges, but I was fortunate enough to be with these fantastic people during the planning process. When we decided what kind of format we were going to use, what technology platform we were going to deploy, and on and on. And I think everybody here, panelists joining me and everybody listed on the slide here, deserves a virtual round of applause for what they were able to bring to you over these last 5 virtual Fridays. All right, well, thanks everyone. And here's a quick look at the topics we're going to try to cover in whirlwind fashion during the remainder of the show. Yep, we're going to talk about award winners, do some highlights day by day, try to do an Uber summary of what happened during the conference during the last 5 weeks, and then we'll leave with the big teaser at the end about what's going to happen next. But like any show, you have to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors, without whom none of this would have been possible. We're grateful for the support of all of these organizations. And of course, in case you haven't recognized it, having the support of these sponsors enabled you to attend BigSurv20 for free, which obviously was a benefit, I think. Okay, so let's get rolling by announcing our award winners. In short order here, we'll announce the winners of the student paper competition, the Big Data Challenge, and the poster competition. If you attended the kickoff session way back on day 1, you already know about our 2 student paper award winners, but that bears repeating here. So let me turn it over to Bella Struminskaya, who is going to re-announce our 2 student paper award winners. You're muted, Bella.
Thank you, Craig. So Peter Luktik has already announced the winners on the first day, and I would just like to honor them again. We received great contributions, and the reviewers praised 2 of those, so we gave out 2 awards. The first award goes to Devi Perlings from Maastricht University on her paper on multivariate density estimation by neural networks. So what she does is that she introduces a very interesting way of dealing with density estimation in large data sets. And the reviewers say that given her results, it is a promising method, and this topic will be especially interesting to domains where there's a lot of multivariate data to be processed. Well, big data domains. Her presentation was on November 5th, and it is available for you to view in the system. Our second winner is Nadia Kostyuk from, at the time she was at the University of Michigan, and her paper is Debates over Cyber Sovereignty as a Driver of Global Cybersecurity Diffusion, Strategy Diffusion. And we've just heard in the plenary a lot about security of data and privacy concerns, and this is also a topic which is close to heart to BigSurv. So what she does is she analyzed national cybersecurity strategies and found that national cybersecurity strategies depend on or proliferate through networks of cyber sovereignty partners. So basically, if nations share the same views on internet, say that it's an open global medium or state-controlled resource that shapes their views. And reviewers have pointed out that her paper can motivate the development of cybersecurity policy. It's very interesting. So she presented on November 20, and her presentation is also available for everyone to view in the system. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Bella. Congratulations to both of these students, student paper competition winners. Okay, next can you go to the next slide, please? Next, I'm gonna turn it over to Trent Buskirk, the ebullient and erudite Trent Buskirk, who is gonna announce the poster competition winners. By the way, he's the person on the left in the picture there. Trent?
Thank you, Craig. I guess we'll go to next slide. So we had a few poster categories this year at BigSurv20, and so I just wanted to thank my colleagues Christoph Kern and Amelia Burke Garcia for helping me judge the posters that were submitted. We had several categories, including the People's Choice Award, and this was the one where you all, participants of BigSurv20, got to vote on the poster you liked the most. And so without further ado, I would like to declare the winner of this as Daniela Duca for her work on the ecosystem of technologies for data collection, survey, and analysis in the social sciences. This is such a rich compendium of resources that might be available as we sort of see this transition into the new era of survey research. And so you would be encouraged to check that out. It's a fantastic poster, and you all declared it the winner. So she will receive a prize, and so we're really excited about that poster. We also had posters, next slide. We also had posters, categories for the best innovation, the best methods, and the best application to a substantive area. For the best innovation category, we had 11 posters, and the winner in that category is James Rainier for his work on combining multiple data sources with synthetic populations, applications to predictions, and alleviation of privacy concerns. This is a very important and salient topic, as many of you have just heard our plenary, so you would be encouraged to check out that poster for more details. We had 11 posters in the best methods category, and the winner of that poster category was Dejesh Sulam for the work on predicting presidential election trends by web data. This was a remarkable poster that packed an enormous amount of information in a very small space. So if you want to learn how to be efficient with your presentation style, please check out this poster. It is a lot of bang for the buck. Congratulations to that winner. And finally, we had 13 posters for the best application to a substantive area. And the winner of that category was Chan Hong Leong for using spatial big data to unpack neighborhood effects on social well-being. Quite a visual display there, so please check that out. Want to say congratulations to all of these winners, and thank you everyone for participating in the poster sessions and for speaking up and voting for the winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Trent, and congratulations to all of our poster competition winners. Next slide, please. Okay, one more set of winners to announce. Let's go on to the next slide. So I'm going to call on the ineffable, irrepressible, always animated, highly energetic Barry Schouten to talk about the Big Data Challenge. Barry.
Thanks a lot. That's a good announcement. I never had such an announcement before. Well, when the conference went virtual, we were hesitating about the challenge, what to do. Shall we still keep on doing the challenge? And we decided to do it because the new setup of the conference was actually not one day or a few days, but quite a few weeks. Even though we had a lot of time, the challenge by itself turned out to be a challenge because we had a lot of different time zones. participants from Los Angeles all the way to China. And some of these were actually in the same teams. So the meetings among the teams was quite challenging. So I would like to thank the challenge owners that were central in all of this. Here they are listed, so I'm not going to go through all of the names, but they have been very, very active in coaching and pitching the different teams throughout the challenge weeks. We closed the challenge last Monday with a jury session, and chaired by the same chair as we have today, and another other main persons in the area of big data and BigSurv. So I guess it's time to announce the winner. So please go to the next slide. So we the winning team is actually a team that was composed out of individual participants. I think that made it quite special. So the winning team is the team Travel Escape, with Jan-Philip Kolb from Germany, Laurens Smeets from the Netherlands, but working in Ghana. Kishan Fang is in the Netherlands, but actually from China, and Shivam Sharam from India. So we have 4 different countries in this team. The jury was especially appreciated the amount of work that this team has done in the short time frame of the Big Data Challenge. And what was very special is that they used different data sets. So they actually looked at different data sets, and they did quite a bit of machine learning as well on these different data sets, so that presentation was convincing to the jury. So I think we should congratulate the team that they worked through this challenge for a number of weeks. And I think it's time to also give them a bit of time to present their result. Is that directly after this sheet? Okay, so it's time for the winning team to present shortly their ideas and solutions.
Yes, thank you, Barry. Yeah, so I'm Kishan, and I'm going to present our solution on behalf of our team. Unfortunately, some of them cannot make it here today because of work. But yeah, all credits to them for sure. Yeah, so the idea behind this challenge is to predict travel motives using location data, specifically coordinate data, so longitude and latitude. And for that, we actually developed 2 different solutions, each for a different scenario. So solution 1 is meant for data that's been labeled with specific travel motives. And what we do there is we try to enrich the location data with external information. So for instance, the point of interest data, such as the number of nearby restaurants or nearby schools, nearby hospitals, nearby shops. And because we think this might be relevant to what a person might be doing in that specific area. We also did it with weather data, such as temperature, precipitation, snow, etc. And then we also included stop-specific time information, such as the duration of the stop or the start time of the stop during the day or the day of the week. So actually with all of this information put together, we trained and fine-tuned a random forest model that eventually gave us a 80% prediction accuracy. And we were actually quite convinced by this result. Because all of the other problems with the data set, we thought that this prediction accuracy was quite good already. Yeah, so this was solution 1. And then for solution 2, we developed that specifically for data set that has not been labeled. So, which means you only have the location data. And for that, we developed a Shiny-based app in order to crowdsource the labels of the travel motives. Next slide, please. Yes, so this is actually what the Shiny app looks like. On the left-hand side, you first write your username and then upload your location data, and then you set a random seed. And then if you click on start, then on the right-hand side, it's going to show you randomly a location. You can zoom in and zoom out to get more details about that specific location. You can also see the time of the day related to that location, the duration of the stop, or even the day of the week. And then with all of this information, we expect you, the annotator, to know or to guess which travel motive it's most likely to be. associated with this particular location. Of course, you can also go for I don't know, but in any case, you can just choose I don't know, or one of the pre-specified motives, and then with that you can, at the end of it, download your annotated data. And if you repeat this over multiple annotators, you also can get extra information about how certain you can be about a particular label, with which you can use to help to decide on the quality of your data and also of your prediction. Yeah, and with that, I'd like to, thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks very much, and congratulations to the team Travel Escape. You guys did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
All right, let's recap some of the highlights from the last 5 virtually every Fridays, beginning at the beginning, back on the 6th of November. So way back on day 1, we had our conference chair, Peter Luptic, kick off BigSurv20 with a preview of what's to come. Next slide, please. And that was followed by the keynote address, which was given by Dr. Albert Ali Saleh from Utrecht University. Next slide, please. And Albert spoke expertly, next slide, please, about new tools and processes for large-scale analysis of human behavior. Next slide, please. These computational systems can be built to interpret and model social and affective signals, and thus ultimately understand human behavior. These technologies create systems to use and analyze these rich social and affective signals emitted by humans both in the real world and in the online world, as well as other intelligent systems. This involves the perception, representation, modeling of social and affective signals in their proper context. And researchers can then apply these systems and models to various domains, including, for example, smart healthcare systems that monitor patients for physical and cognitive well-being, or robots that interact with children in educational scenarios, or multimedia retrieval systems that model the affective states of users and evaluate the emotional valence of content. Next slide, please. And yeah, okay, we had a little bit of technical difficulty on day 1 where Albert's slides were slightly out of focus, but we got that fixed. And Dr. Saleh concluded with a nice summary, next slide please, of the advantages and disadvantages of using these systems and techniques. And so this talk, I thought, and these conclusions spawned a really lively question and answer session, which was ably, next slide please, and actively moderated by Peter, our conference chair. Peter was pensive, he was thoughtful, he was intense, he was praying that everything was going to go okay, and evidently had spent a sleepless night worrying that everything was going to be okay, but ultimately was glad that everything did go okay. Okay, well, let's speed things up here a little bit and fast forward to day 2, which was on Friday the 13th. And as you know, we had several concurrent sessions going on, which meant that no one could attend them all in real time. So you had to pick and choose, or you had to go back and watch videos at your leisure. But such is the life of BigSurv20 attendees, so much luxury, so many choices. So like you, I had to pick and choose. Here's a couple of papers of note from the sessions that I attended on day 2 in real time. First, we had Thinking Like a Computational Social Science, Organizing Thoughts and Organizing Data from authors at the UK Data Service. This was remarkable, in my opinion, because it was a video. Yep, rather than the standard suite of PowerPoint slides with words and maybe a picture here and there, kind of like I'm doing, this was instead a video with fantastically high production values, extremely well done in my opinion, and quite possibly representing what the future of virtual conferences will look like. I was pleasantly surprised and quite impressed, not only with the video itself, but with the content as well. Also on day 1, I took note of a special and also extremely well done paper by Ashley Amaya and her colleagues. Maybe it was the title I found intriguing, or maybe, next slide, please, it was the set of co-authors. But okay, let's move on. Day 3, November 20th, again had concurrent sessions in 2 different time slots. I was able to attend one of the demo sessions, which was a, next slide please, a fantastic way, I thought, to quickly familiarize yourself with new tools or processes that were useful for the analysis of human behavior. Next slide, please. This is sort of a machine gun set of short papers demonstrating how to actually do data science stuff. Next slide, please. I also got to attend during that day the session on combining survey data with other sources. Or rather, sorry, a picture's worth, improving the use of geographical characteristics in surveys, which had some wonderful papers showing just how much power adding a geo layer to your data can bring. It was really fascinating stuff. And I got to attend the session on combining data, survey data with other sources. And to me, this is the real meat of what BigSurv is trying to do or accomplish. And this session had examples from around the world showing the power of integrating survey data with other data sources, or even in fact, using other sources of data to derive an estimator, next slide please, for a concept that had previously been done only through survey. All right, next slide please. Day 4 of BigSurv20 took place last Friday. Had a couple of sort of Eurocentric sessions since that was the day after Thanksgiving here in the good old USA. And so I'm going to ask Antje Kirchner, who's going to provide you with her precisely German engineered highlights from that day. Antje?
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Greg. That picture actually brings up a lot of fun memories of a post-hiking dinner that was almost as good as the Thanksgiving dinner last Thursday. But again, different story. Back to the sessions. I was still slightly in a food coma on Thursday. Nonetheless, I managed to attend and stay awake for 2 exciting sessions, and mostly because they were so exciting. In the first session, I learned that citizen science and crowdsourcing initiatives for official statistics are really no longer a dream, but a reality, and saw a lot of cool applications of combining different data sources and their limitations as well. Also, I learned about the Statistics Netherlands Sensor Data Challenge, which looked like a lot of fun from what John mentioned, and as you may glean from those pictures here, it was really fascinating. And this again confirms to me that we're really on the right track with BigSurv bringing together researchers across disciplines and sharing their experiences, making surveys smarter. And so really, I encourage you to go back and go into that session. It's exciting, and it just made me smile the entire way through. So going to back to the idea of designing smart surveys, coming to that second session, which focused on big data enhancement to survey methods and tools more generally. This compilation of talks really covered very creative complements, supplements, and replacements for more traditional sample, probability sample survey data with other data sources ranging from anything from Twitter to non-probability, and again, coming back to the sensor data. And with that, back to you, Craig.
Thank you, Antje. Okay, that brings us to this, the last day, day 5 of BigSurv20. Earlier today, I hope you had a chance to attend the plenary session on data and privacy. A fantastic way, I thought, to end the formal programming. Such a continuum of beliefs and perceptions, as well as policies and regulations about data privacy. And this group did a fantastic job of laying all those out. I noticed, I took particular notice of Raja's use of the phrase internet hygiene, and also of Bianca's reminding us that data doesn't stop at borders, it's always in transit. I thought this was a really wonderful session. Before I go though, I've got a couple of other things to button up. First, in case you'd forgotten, there are opportunities to get your BigSurv20 work published. So here's the oh so august Don Jang with details on that. Don?
Thanks, Craig. Yes, among all excellent presentation made over past 4 weeks. We invited some of those papers to submit to one of the 2 special issues, one EPJ data science and another one JRSSA. Each special issue actually has a different focus. EPJ data science is the focus more on application of method and algorithms in the intersection of computer science and social science, integrating survey and non-survey data. On the other hand, JRSSA is focusing more on methodological innovations and applications, again, in combining survey data, other sources of data, and also analyze. EPJ has the more the rapid publication the schedule. Right now, they plan to publish it sometime next year, hopefully spring. On the other hand, JRSSA is targeting early 2022. So we're gonna send a reminder notification with the submission deadlines to those who are invited to submit the papers for those special issues. And some of them might actually have been invited, but they decided not to publish, or actually some of them actually didn't get invited. There's another the opportunity. Survey Methodology Journal will welcome submissions from all BigSurv conference presenters. It's due March 31st next year. And depending on the number of papers to be accepted, it could be another special issue. But at a minimum, they will publish as a special section of one of the journal issue. So I hope that all of you take advantage of this wonderful publication venue. That's it for now. But if any of you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to send me an email. Craig?
Thanks very much, Don. I hope you all are able to take advantage of these opportunities to further your work and to further the science that we get to talk about during BigSurv20. Okay, so finally, just a couple of words to sum things up and bring the closing session round about to the end here. Back on day 1 in the kickoff session, Peter had a slide that looked like this. He wanted to remind us about the intent of BigSurv, and that intent ultimately is to bring people together, people who might be in different walks of life or people who might have been trained in different disciplines, but people who are all working toward understanding human behavior. That is ultimately what underlies BigSurv. I've asked Trent Buskirk to say a few more words in closing on this topic about why we are here. Professor Buskirk?
Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate the photos and the memories that they also engender. And also, thanks for giving me a chance to sort of speak a little bit about this. I'm thinking back to the late 2016 when a small committee of survey research superstars and computer science gurus came together to discuss the idea of BigSurv18. At that time, it was 2018 BigSurv, to envision a place of shared conversation. A mashup, if you will, of survey research jargon and non-responsees with R and Python code and algorithmic mumbo jumbo to create a fertile ground for research in this new 4th paradigm, ushering in a 4th era of survey research, if you will, an era that will likely be another defining moment for public opinion research globally. Around that time, Etham Alpidin, in his 2016 monograph, Machine Learning, the New AI, sort of coined this quote: "Machine learning will help us make sense of an increasingly complex world. Already we are exposed to more data than what our sensors can cope with and our brains can process. We are seeing this on display in our own fields now, where we're appending more and more types of data to more traditionally posed survey research questions such as sensor data, auxiliary data, administrative data, paradata, big data, and small data. Clearly, there was a space in our research community for an outlet for real conversations about the issues we are dealing with in handling these new types of data, and some collective encouragement about how to moderate the internal discussions many of us were likely having at the time about replacing traditional survey methods with new data sources and the concerns about doing that and doing it well. Sir Richard Branson once said that the best and most solid way out of a crisis in a changing market is through experimentation and adaptation. I think the BigSurv conference series is living proof of how we as survey and social scientists, data scientists, and computer scientists are coming together to share ways in which we are experimenting and adapting to an ever-evolving data-centric world and to a fit-for-purpose paradigm that seems to be expanding by the day. One thing I have been so moved by attending the BigSurv conferences is just how transparent we've been with one another on what we've tried and what we're doing and what failed and what actually worked and what things were challenging. I remember hearing talks that were truly honest about the number of challenges faced with and the emotional turmoil that one had to go through to process Reddit data for the first time. I also remember an eye-opening talk about the coefficients for specific predictors that were named on using mobile ads for recruitment of survey participation, and how little information there was currently available about that process or how to do it. I truly love the spirit of these presentations that show just how bold we are with one another in a new and emerging area. But one thing I'd like to say in closing here is that while it is certainly true that machine learning and data science methods have made a lot of contributions to many fields across the globe, including our own, there are many examples here about how survey and social sciences and official statistics workers can create and facilitate a two-way conversation. I believe survey research has a lot to contribute to the data science and big data ecosystem, whether it be related to our understanding of the implications of coverage for biasing estimates, which is also coined as algorithmic bias, or whether it is by error or quality frameworks that can help us assess the quality of our sources, big or small, survey or otherwise, and whether it relates to data privacy and access and communicating this to the public, and also engendering trust for studies in the future. So as we go away from this conference, don't forget to keep pressing forward, keep the conversations alive, and realize that the big data ecosystem and the future of public opinion will only be better by continuing the spirit of sharing that we have come to know and love from BigSurv. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Trent. And that we do indeed need to keep pressing forward, but you're taking us all the way back to 2016 is making me a little misty-eyed here. I got to take a moment. That was fantastic. I really love that. And I'm going to sum up, give sort of a short version of what Trent said on the next slide, please. By saying this, we believe at BigSurv and the BigSurv franchise, as I keep referring to it, that we've started to thread together disciplines and perspectives under the same roof. And as a result, we can provide both novel applications of technology and data to enhance survey research. But this illustrates two primary intersection points between survey research and computer science. One is the integration of survey data and big data, and also the application of data science methods and approaches for refining and improving the survey research process. And to us on the committee here, and I hope you as attendees, this evinces a willingness to improve and adapt and enhance survey science, and also about how big data itself can be leveraged to improve official statistics and other estimates of human populations, and new perspectives for the utility and value of survey data for refining and evaluating and improving the quality of big data. You know, you might have noticed that this, what I just read here has quotation marks around it. Well, there's a reason for that. Next slide, please. Because here comes a shameless plug. That was in the introductory chapter of our book that came out from BigSurv18. It literally just hit print on November 3rd, around the time we started BigSurv20. So go ahead and get yourself one. This makes a wonderful Christmas gift for all of your friends and family. Okay, one last piece of business to take care of. If you loved BigSurv18 or BigSurv20 or both, you're sure to love what comes next. Maybe that's BigSurv22. I think it will be. Wait, what? Is there going to be a BigSurv22? What do you say, Ana Lucia? Are we going to do it?
Let's do it. Thank you, Craig. I'm Ana Lucia Cordova. I'm an assistant professor at the Universidad San Francisco de Quito in Ecuador. Actually, you are looking at a picture of Quito on your screen. Thank you so much for that, Craig. I'm very excited to break the news that the BigSurv committee has agreed that the next BigSurv take place in Quito, Ecuador, in the middle of the world. So first of all, I want to thank the BigSurv committee for considering Ecuador to host a new BigSurv conference in 2022. Second, I want you to know that here in Ecuador, as in the rest of the world, we are confident we will defeat this pandemic and we will be able to see each other face to face again, enjoy a dinner together and hug each other again. In a word, we are hopeful that during our next BigSurv, we will be able to celebrate our humanity again. So providing that we have overcome the pandemic, we are making now the commitment that in the new BigSurv conference, we will meet again with enthusiasm, ingenuity, and humanity. I have no doubt that after the pandemic, we Ecuadorians will redouble our traditional hospitality. So I want to tell you that we are waiting for each one of you in the middle of the world. And from this moment on, we offer you our warmest welcome. And in the meantime, the BigSurv committee counts on each and every one of you to keep preparing for the conference during the next 2 years. Indeed, preparations for Ecuador 2022 begin today. We are happy because we will build this new conference on the basis of the huge work done by the people involved in the previous edition. And I want to give a special thanks to Antje. So I thank you everybody for this initiative and thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ana Lucia. I am so excited to get to Quito in 2022 and to give you a hug. All right, well, that's it for me. Next slide, please. But I'm gonna, I wanna now turn it over to our conference chair, Peter Luptig, the illustrious and industrious and redoubtable Peter Luptig. And I wanna take this moment to publicly acknowledge, Peter, what a fantastic job you have done in leading the committee and putting this wonderful conference on. I have to say to you that personally, doing this virtually every Friday as opposed to Thursday through Saturday for 12 hours a day was a fantastic choice, and you and the rest of the committee deserve such a round of applause for having made BigSurv20 happen. So thanks very much, and Peter, you have some words of wisdom, I'm sure, for the rest of us. Thanks very much, everybody.
All right, so I have the honor of closing the conference with some final words as I open the conference as well with housekeeping. So first of all, thank you, Craig, for hosting this final closing session. I also want to thank all the other people on the scientific committee, and I want to single out Antje Kirchner, who is here as well, who's really been a driving force of BigSurv, not only this year, but also the last time when we did it physically in Barcelona. So thank all of you, but especially Antje. All right, so with having said that, we're now really coming to the end. There's a final two things I want to say. So first of all, for those of you who after Craig's talk got curious about some of these talks that Craig or Trent or other people mentioned, most of these talks are actually still available to view at your leisure. So the talks will remain available at our website, and you can watch the videos. So please do so today or any other time. The second thing is that while we are really officially closing the conference in a minute or so, there is a chance to continue. So we have set up a happy hour on Slack. So most of you are maybe aware that we have used Slack throughout the conference for discussions outside of the live sessions. And we have set up 8 different channels, workspaces, places where you can discuss things related to the conference. So 7 of those are related to a theme. So the themes were the themes that we originally picked when you submitted an abstract. I know this was a very, very long time ago, but when you did submit your abstract, there were certain tracks that you could choose. And so we've opened up a channel in every track, so you can get to meet other people who are maybe still around and want to talk. If you just want to have a beer and have social conversation with people, there is also a general happy hour that you can join to talk to perhaps some of the people of the scientific committee and also other people. So feel free to join that conversation. The conversation on Slack will also stay open. So if you want to ask some other questions to people, to presentations that were maybe last week or the week before, that's also still open, will remain open. And probably at some point in January, we'll start closing these things off. But until that time, Slack will stay open, the conference website will stay open, so you can enjoy the rest of December with more BigSurv if you have not had enough virtual Fridays. All right, so with that, I think we really now come to a close. I want to thank all our sponsors again. I want to thank Craig and also RTI for hosting all these live sessions throughout the conference. I want to, Shane is here with us today, Shane Hamstra, but there have been other people from RTI throughout the conference who have really been a great help in actually making this all work. So thanks everyone. Thanks also for everyone who has attended. I hope to see you soon and live perhaps in 2 years' time in Quito. I'm very excited about that. All right, so we'll close it off. Thanks everyone, and hope to see you in 2 years. Bye.
Hey, well done, everybody. Hope that went okay, and hope everybody who was attending. We had about 70 people, I think, at one point, so that's great, and hope people slide into the Slack channel. Me, I have other meetings this afternoon, so I can't. I'd love to join you with a beer, but I'll have to wait for a few hours for that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Really been a pleasure working with all of you guys, and I really do. I mean, I did literally get sort of goosebumps when we were talking about it at the end here, like you said, Antje. But I think the whole thing was fantastic.
Okay.
All right, see you guys.
I'll see most of you in December for our last meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Bye.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.